MonsterVerse Godzilla. Legendary's attempt at the classic Toho kaiju. This Godzilla, while only being 10 years old, has taken the world by storm, already being the third longest ongoing Godzilla era ever, and about to pass the Heisei era for the second longest. Now, if you know anything about MonsterVerse Godzilla fans, you probably know that they can overestimate him, saying he's the strongest Godzilla, which, well... But let's truly test his strength, and throw him into a different era of Godzilla, to see how he would hold up. Today we're sending MonsterVerse Godzilla back 20 years, to find out, can legendary Godzilla survive the Millennium era? Hello everyone, it's your host Goji Guy, and man, it has been a while, huh? 2 months ago to be exact, but I'm finally back to continue the verse swaps. To anyone wondering why I stopped, it's just they got really repetitive for me, just saying the same stats over and over and over, week after week, so I just needed a break, or else I would have burnt out. But with that being said, I know probably almost all of you have forgotten the Millennium era list, so let's go over who he will be fighting. His list is Final Wars Kamacuras and Kumanga, Final Wars Zilla, Hedorah, and Ibara, GMK Baragon, Final Wars King Caesar, Rodan, and Anguirus, GMK King Ghidorah, Mega Gearus, Final Wars Gigan, Orga, Kiryu, Monster X, and finally, Kaiser Ghidorah. So with all that covered, we first need to go over all of MonsterVerse Godzilla's feats of strength, speed, all that stuff. So let's dive in. Starting with strength. MonsterVerse Godzilla pretty comfortably sits in the plus 100,000 ton range of strength, being able to throw Kong with his jaw, even when he was tired, and being able to lift the Muto Prime when he was severely damaged. Kong coming in at apparently 90,000 tons, which is a debate in itself, but anyways. And the Muto Prime weighing in at 135,000 tons. For speed, he's in the 300 miles per hour range. We get the speed from a supposed test screening of the King of the Monsters film, though in the GXK novelization, it is stated his steps are almost subsonic. Now, that doesn't mean he was actually going that fast, as Greg Keyes didn't really clarify what he meant, so we're going to stick with the 300 miles per hour stuff. For durability, he is one heck of a tank, being able to survive a drop from the stratosphere, able to withstand the Permian asteroid slamming into him, and is able to handle the Hollow Earth portal inversion. He can of course take nukes to the face, and can tank the Muto Prime's punches. For his battle experience, he has fought kaiju that can fly, use telekinesis, burrow, split into smaller forms of itself, and has even been in 2v1s and has handled them like a champ, or, well, handled them at his best. With all that out of the way, let's dive in. First up is Final Wars Kamacuras and Kumanga, and yeah. I don't really think it's a big surprise that Godzilla absolutely dominates them in pretty much every category. I mean, MonsterVerse Godzilla alone is stronger than Final Wars Godzilla, so he can just pull off any of the feats Final Goji used against these kaiju. That along with the fact that he's been in more difficult 2v1s in the past, so it's no surprise that he would win this one. The only thing that Duo has over Goji is their sheer speed thanks to Kamacuras, but other than that, I mean, Kamacuras alone died to a power line, so I think that's enough said right there. With no difficulty, Godzilla moves on. Next up is Zilla, Ibara, and Hedorah. And again, they get folded. I mean, Godzilla would easily kill Ibara, and Ibara can kill Hedorah. And Zilla got injured from the Sydney Opera House. So yeah, really just grab any of them and slam them into each other and they go down. Again, with no difficulty, Godzilla moves on. Next up is my goat, Baragon. Now the only issue Baragon poses is his burrowing, being able to use the ground as protection, but the ground won't provide much help as, well. So again, Goji moves on with no difficulty. Off script here, if you guys want weekly kaiju and just nerdy related content, make sure you subscribe. I try to upload almost daily shorts, put up fun interactive polls all the time. I do a lot of Godzilla related live streams, and just overall, if you're a nerd, you'll like this channel. So consider hitting that subscribe button and join the Discord down below to talk to your fellow nerds. Now to King Caesar, Rodan, and Anguirus. Now MonsterVerse Godzilla will struggle with this one. Due to the kaiju's team's superior speed and agility, it will be difficult for Goji to land a hit, though they themselves won't really inflict any damage to Godzilla either. Now as a full team, they would overwhelm him, making him start to lash out and attack with no thought process, but again, they can't do much to him. So after a while, Godzilla will eventually pick up on their patterns of attack and figure out what they're doing, quickly figuring out a counter and taking them down. And once one goes down, the other two will go down fast. So with low difficulty, Godzilla once again moves on. Next up is GMK King Ghidorah, which I first need to clarify. This is King Ghidorah, not normal Ghidorah. King Ghidorah has Mothra and Baragon's spirit inside of him, pretty much just acting like an amp, just being a much more powerful version of his base form, also giving him a new ability. The first thing that Godzilla will notice is this new ability, that being the fact that he's pretty much beam repellent. So Godzilla's beam just won't hit him, King Ghidorah having a shield that deflects pretty much any beam-related attack. So Monster vs. Goji would have to rely on his sheer strength and durability for this one, having to wait out Ghidorah until he has a chance to grab him, but once it does get a hold on him, it's wraps for Ghidorah, as even with the amp, he just isn't durable enough. Godzilla could just stomp him out until he's no more. With low difficulty, Godzilla moves on. Next up is Megaguirus, and this will be Godzilla's first real struggle, as Megaguirus is not only much faster, but thanks to her stinger on her tail, she could deal some real damage to Goji if she lands a hit. Now she would of course land some good hits on Godzilla, but like the Godzilla that fought her in their movie, Monster vs. Godzilla would soon understand and be able to predict when and where she would attack. If he can land a beam, it would do severe damage to Megaguirus, and if and when he does land a beam, it would either kill her off the bat or knock her to the ground, giving Goji time to pin her to the ground and perform his well-known kiss of death. So while injured in this fight, with mid-difficulty, Godzilla moves on. Next up is Final Wars Gigan. Yeah, Goji clears. While Gigan could damage Godzilla with his beam and blades, it's more due to his incompetence that he will be getting slammed. But really, Final Wars Gigan is crazy weak. Not only is he just stupid, he just doesn't even know how to use his own body, literally killing himself in his first ever fight. If you guys want me to make a video breaking down actually how strong Final Wars Gigan really is, let me know. But to all 40 of you Final Wars Gigan stans, try some of GamerSup's new copium flavored blend. With its amazing taste, it will help you relax and realize that no, Final Wars Gigan isn't the strongest kaiju of all time. Just make sure to use code GOJIGUY for 10% off your entire order. Link will be down below. With like low diff, again, Godzilla moves on. Next up is Orga. Now this will be a little tricky, as while Orga can't really do too much to Godzilla besides his beam, it's Orga's regen that Godzilla has to watch out for, as Orga has some crazy regenerative abilities, being able to regrow a large portion of his back in seconds. Though, if this fight were to go on for a long time, Godzilla would eventually start to do enough damage where Orga just won't have the time or energy to regenerate. Though Orga with his beam would get some good licks in on Godzilla himself. But overall, Godzilla moves on with mid-difficulty. And now onto the big three, Kiryu, Monster X, and Kaiser Ghidorah. For these kaiju, we're going to break down their categories like a miniature versus battle video, going over feats such as strength, speed, durability, IQ, battle IQ, and any useful abilities. Starting with Kiryu, specifically Kiryu from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. So, for strength, Kiryu has shown many times that he can throw his Godzilla, whether that be normally or using his boosters to help him throw him and lift him even more. Kiryu Goji coming in at 25,000 metric tons. So while Kiryu is pretty strong, it's pretty clear that Godzilla takes it. For speed, Kiryu is able to use his thrusters to briefly fly, but has also used them to dodge attacks. For speed, it just barely goes to Kiryu. Kiryu is able to take many of Godzilla's beams, but of course his best feat is that he survived his own absolute zero cannon point blank. So for durability, it's close. And while Kiryu does have a very impressive feat, Monster vs. Godzilla has much more to go off of, so for durability, it's Monster vs. Godzilla. For IQ, I think it's pretty clear it's Goji. And before you tell me, oh, well, the pilot is smart, this is just Kiryu, no pilots. And don't bring up 54. 54 isn't smart. I don't know where that idea came from. He's just an animal. For battle IQ, again, I don't really think it's a stretch to say Monster vs. Godzilla takes it. I mean, he's just been in way more fights. And for abilities, really the only thing that could damage Godzilla is the absolute zero cannon, though it is kind of a bust, as it takes so long to charge up, and given Kiryu Goji to walk it off, so would Monster vs. Goji. Now Kiryu will put up a fight, don't get me wrong, and thanks to his speed and combatant skills, he'll put up a challenge. But overall, Monster vs. Godzilla clears mid-difficulty. Now onto my personal favorite kaiju of the entire era, Monster X. Monster X is a big jump from the likes of Kiryu, being one of the most agile kaiju ever, alongside being one of the best combatants ever, being up there with the likes of Showa Godzilla's own fighter and Kong. By the way, want to see a fight analysis between Monster X and Gigan Rex and see how that would play out? Make sure to go watch this video after this one. I promise you'll like it. Anyways, for strength, he's strong enough to casually lift Godzilla with ease, seemingly laughing whilst doing so. Final Goji coming in at 55,000 metric tons, and is later able to restrain him. So while it's super close, I'm gonna have to give the edge to the Monster vs. Godzilla. He just has more consistent feats for his higher end strength. For speed, Monster X is seemingly sorta able to fly, but he's also able to make great leaps, and of course sprint. Now while we don't know how fast he can fly, we do know it should be pretty quick. But given how fast he's able to attack, especially when fighting Final Wars Godzilla, when it comes to speed, it's a tie. For durability, the whole ordeal with Monster X to Kaiser Ghidorah is that Kaiser traded durability for power. So any durability feats Kaiser Ghidorah has, Monster X should be able to replicate. But for his actual feats, he of course survived crashing into the ground from space, which would take an insane amount of durability to survive. He also withstood an atomic breath to the face. This same atomic breath was able to push back the Exilian mothership, which by my guess, which is just my guess, would weigh in at over 1,000,000 tons. So it's super close for durability. So durability is a tie. For IQ, again, I don't really think I need to say much. Goji takes it. And same thing for battle IQ. For abilities, his most useful attack will be his gravity beams, being a fast-paced attack that is hard to counter if you're not fast enough. So overall, this fight would be brutal and bloody. Both combatants landing powerful blows, but at the end of it, one must fall. The winner for this battle is just barely Monster vs. Godzilla. With extreme difficulty, he moves on. Now, I know what you're thinking, Goji Guy, just say Kaiser wins, because he's a stronger version of Monster X, which is true, but not entirely. As we said, Kaiser is more powerful in his attacks, but as you'll find out, this trade-off might not be worth it. Starting with strength. Again, Kaiser can pull off anything Monster X can, and isn't actually able to lift Final Goji. But given Monster vs. Godzilla weighs almost twice as much, I don't think they'll be able to move him around. When it comes to strength, it again goes to Goji. Speed, and yeah, this goes to Goji pretty easily. While many people believe he can, Kaiser Ghidorah in fact cannot fly. He can't even glide, as he is just way too heavy. The winner for speed is Monster vs. Godzilla. For durability, I mean, they tied the last time, and as we just said, this guy is less durable than Monster X. So for durability, it goes to Godzilla. You know, same deal for IQ and battle IQ as well. The only thing Kaiser has going for him is his anti-gravity beams and energy draining abilities. But given Monster vs. Godzilla can do the same thing with the energy part, the energy drain won't really do anything as it would just be a cycle. So are his beams strong enough to take out Goji? No. While don't get me wrong, they will do some damage, they just won't do much, just throwing them around more than anything. So yeah, with high difficulty, Goji moves on, and we now have a second Godzilla to clear the Millennium era. So what do you guys think? Do you disagree, or do you think Goji makes it through? Have at it in the comments, just, be respectful. And if you made it this far, again, consider subscribing. I work hard on these goofy videos, even going as far as writing the script on my birthday. That's right, I am now an adult. I can give all my money away. So if you want to show your support, hitting that button is the best way to do so. But as always, keep collecting. Goji Guy out. See ya.